This is Mark Dempsey with the National Convergence Technology Center. We are based at Collin College in Texas and funded by a grant from the National Science Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us today for our Showcasing IT for High School Students webinar. Here's our agenda for today. We'll be hearing from 3 different perspectives on IT education and career pathways. Debi Crawford is with Melissa ISD. Lauren Potterfield is from here at Collin College. And Kathryn Beasley is with the University of North Texas. Because we have such a very full agenda for these 30 minutes, we likely cannot take questions live in the chat box, but please do send them to us. Amy is here in the Zoom chat box taking your questions. We'll collect those, get them answered, and send them back out next week with the answers, okay? Please also use the chat box to send us your name and your school. We're using that as roles to make sure who's attending. And if you don't think we have your email address, if you're new to this group, please send that in the chat box as well, okay? So this webinar was inspired by a request from our grant review panel that meets every year. That group asked that we consider developing a tool to help high school faculty better understand for their students both the IT job opportunities and education pathways for their students and graduates. And please, if you would, mute your phone. That's some background noise here, so make sure you mute your phone. We're trying to mute on this end as well, but please mute your phone. Here is some data from Burning Glass that shows a few IT job categories and the number of job postings that went unfilled. For example, Burning Glass found over 108,000 computer support jobs from August of last year to February of this year, and over 40% of those jobs were not filled. And see there, all the way in that middle, that second column from the right there, that's the percentage of jobs that went unfilled. That last column on the right also shows the projected rate of growth through 2026. Clearly, looking at this, IT is a booming industry, but employers cannot find enough workers. There's a workforce shortage. These next 2 slides show some average salaries for IT jobs. This one is from the Department of Labor's Bureau of Labor Statistics website. Obviously, this is not what entry-level workers will be making, but it definitely shows IT jobs can pay very well. And then here also next is some salary averages from Indeed.com as of just last month. So there's a job shortage, and the jobs that are there are paying well. That's just my quick overview. I want now to turn it over to our guest speakers. First up will be Debi Crawford from Melissa ISD.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm from Melissa High School. So the first thing that I want to say is that when you're dealing with high school students, you definitely have to be in the, for IT careers, they need to be in CTE programs, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. But however, CTE programs still have kind of a bad connotation over the last few years. People seem to think that they're not for high-level jobs, which is not the case at all. So one of the things that we started to do this year was to rebrand our CTE program. And we're using this career tree format that shows the roots being things such as experience, academics, professional skills, and a passion for your work. And then we show 3 levels: jobs and careers that are entry level, those that are technical careers, and those that are professional careers. And we communicate with our students that there's no wrong level of the tree. Sometimes you may start out in an entry-level job, and then through your experience and your professional skills, you gain entry into the technical career. Or you may go to college and get some more training for the technical career. Whatever the case may be, it's the right thing to do. When we're looking at which careers to steer our students toward, we use the workforce data from our area. Because we are on the information corridor, have many of the same information points that you showed just a few minutes ago, Mark, in your graphic. It's also very important that our high school counselors are up to date on what's going on, what careers are out there, where the opportunities are, and to make the connections with those businesses and industries. This is a picture of my 2 counselors that went to Fort Hood, Texas this year and experienced what all is going on in IT careers through the military. And the fact that they're willing to do that is a real plus for Melissa ISD. We also have an embedded college and career counselor from Collin College that comes to our school a couple of times a week. She gets to know our students that way. She also gets to see what courses we have and how our students react to those. She gets to know our student population, as well as she then is able to work one-on-one with our students and give them career interest surveys, which help those kids that have a really hard time trying to make a decision in that direction. The state of Texas is getting ready to redo the entire Perkins 5 that's been adopted, and with that, they're redoing the way CTE courses are going to be handled at the high school. There's always been an emphasis on certification, but that's going to increase, and also an emphasis on work-based learning. In preparation of that, we again are making connections with businesses in the area to see what is out there and who would be able to take some of our students in some of those work-based learning areas. This cannot be underemphasized how important it is to have business partners. One of our biggest challenges, though, is finding people who can teach these courses, because especially in IT, it requires the knowledge base of just having done the work before. And oftentimes, people who are really good at that are not those that really want to teach. So this is a challenge that we face all the time. We're very lucky in Melissa because the gentleman that you see working with our students here is also our database person. He spends a half a day in our database area in the technology. He has a technology background, and then he spends a half a day with our students. It's rare to be able to find somebody like that. So it's really important when the junior colleges are able to come in and help us out. This is an example of what Collin has been able to help us, and this is my page that I've written all over. But this is their alignment for a particular degree plan in the 2-year program, and they're able to articulate a class with us, and then they're also able to help us in finding personnel or in having their teachers teach our courses. And this is one way we can get around our problem with the shortage of personnel. One of the other things that we're doing here in Melissa to kind of help with this process is we're starting an coding program with our kindergarten next year. It's a pilot program. It's district-wide, K through 12. We'll start with 2 kindergarten classrooms, 2 first grade classrooms, 2 fourth grade classrooms, 2 middle school, and then we'll start a programming program for app development at our high school. We're hoping that the extra touches with IT experiences and with the process thinking that goes into coding, our students will get that grit to stick with problems that's needed in the IT field, and they will be really ready to go by the time they get to high school. And that's all I have to share with you today.
I'm Lauren Potterfield. I work at Collin College in academic services. Our professional development course is called Building Capacity of College Advisors, Coaches, Career Counselors, and Administrators. And that's really just a fancy way of saying that we are trying to increase the knowledge base of these stakeholders in career and technical education so that they can then in turn share that with students who may be interested in these careers. Our audience is community college advisors, and then of course students and parents as well. But we also we're looking to make connections with high school advisors as well, because that's where students are really starting to investigate what they want to do. So there's going to be that as well. Our main goal is to, like I said, increase awareness of CTE programs among community college advisors. And this is statewide for the state of Texas. But along with that, we hope to increase discussions with students about CTE opportunities, helping them to become more aware of what is out there, and change the image of career and technical education for both groups, for advisors so that they can present this as an option that's a very strong option for a lot of students, and for students to really consider it seriously as an option that will work for them. The professional development course is tiered, which means that the information goes from basic to more complicated. You can jump in at any point, but you can also start from the beginning and build up, down, across. Every lesson, and there are 12, you'll see, are created very short micro-learning lessons. So 2 to 4 minutes of time investment for each one, and that's it. The course is divided into 4 modules, as we're calling them. And the first one is just to help students and advisors learn about career and technical education, what it is today, what opportunities are there, just some basics. The second module, and if you'll hit the page down, you see this is the first one. And then the second one is to help students choose if CTE is for them and what program career cluster fits. What is a good fit for them within that CTE umbrella? The third one is helping create a financial plan, which is something that's kind of a new idea that you'll see a little worksheet that I created that can help students kind of walk through what their plan is and see, is what I'm thinking going to work financially for me? The goal is to get them to come out, complete their education with less or no debt, with manageable or less debt. So that's what that's about. And then the last one is ways to help them stay on track to finish. Now, for high school advisors, 1 and 2 is probably going to be of most use for that arena, but the other ones have some good stuff too. So the 4 modules each have 3 lessons. So we have 12 lessons total, and they're presented like you're seeing now in a dynamic PowerPoint. Some are a little more, just depends on the topic, a little more involved. But we also have these infographics you'll see. There's one here on this, but they are part of what is an important part of this professional development course, which are pull-out tools. There's an infographic example right there. And then, so we'll talk more about the pull-out tools here. So I have various types of tools, and these are things you can use directly with students, directly with parents, to help them understand some of the concepts and opportunities. So I have self-assessments. This one here is helping students who have expressed an interest in career and technical education decide which career cluster might be right for them based on interest, personality, and it's just kind of a fun, short little thing. There'll also be some links to some online web self-assessments that they could use as well, but this one is unique to the course. We created it just for this. We have some worksheets. This one is to help students create that financially driven academic plan. So if they walk through it and they plug in some numbers and do some simple math, it is actually designed to be used with an advisor, although I have test run it on many college students who can just do it independently, so that's good. But if you click the page down, we'll see the importance of this one, and click one more time. What this does is show you if your plan is affordable for you or not. And the definition of that is, can you afford any debt that you have to take? Can you do it with no debt? If it comes out not affordable, you just go back and reconfigure your plan until it is affordable for you. So that way we're thinking up front about the cost of things before we get out. We also have videos that are a part of it. I have links to some videos that are very informative and fun for students and advisors and parents. But we're also creating a series of animations, and this is the one I've done on information technology, which I thought you would like to see since that's what we're talking about today. And hopefully we can play it. You can go ahead and play it, but it just explains the options that we have here at Collin College. really, this was fun to make because once I had done it, I wanted to study IT, but it's just supposed to give students an overview of what that is. You know, what are the kind of things you would be doing or studying? Just a very brief introduction. Now, we are going to house this professional development course on Starlink, which is also a Perkins-funded website, but it is access for it is free for any community colleges. Any community college employees in Texas can access this for free. We're working on how we could get that for high school advisors as well. Some of you have embedded community college advisors, so there may be some possibility there. September 1st is the launch date where everything should be up, and you can access and see what you can learn.
All right, so I am Kathryn Beasley. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Admissions in the College of Engineering at UNT. And kind of my goal with these slides today is to give a little bit of perspective of what the IT program looks like from our side, but also a little bit of how what you all do influences kind of what we do on our end. So just a little bit about UNT for anybody who's unfamiliar. We are located about 45 minutes north of Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a really great thing for us. Number one, due to our proximity to industry, but also our proximity to really great community colleges and high schools in the area that do focus on CTE. We really love CTE students and CTE programs because it brings really qualified students to our programs who are a little bit more prepared and also therefore a little bit more confident once they begin our programs. On campus, we have about 39,000 students. Engineering has about 4,000, and our IT program has about 180 students in it, compared with about 730 in computer science. So we do still have a lot more students focusing on computer science, but we do have a pretty decent population of IT students as well. And our computer science program has been around for quite some time, which has helped us and our students with finding jobs in the area because we do have some pretty good relationships with industry. So moving forward, this is a snapshot that's probably quite difficult to read, but I'll be happy to send in any format you all might need, that shows our degree plan for information technology. One of the nicest things about this degree plan is that it's extremely flexible for students because they're able to utilize more of their community college credits for this degree than they can several of our others. So of course, here in the box, you can see our university core, which includes all of the classes that everybody basically has to take in Texas, common ones, and we've done quite a good job of overlapping this with other areas of the degree plan, so students don't necessarily have to take more than one lab science, things like that. We account for that in the rest of the degree plan for what counts toward the major. We do, for this degree plan, as you can see, let me see how many times I have to click. We have all of the core, then that's followed by the major requirements, which include technical writing, which students can do at a community college, along with all of the core. And one of the really nice things with this degree plan is it only requires Calculus 1 and then a probability class. And so for students who are shy about math, they would have to do fewer advanced math classes, which is a good thing. It also really helps students get done with the program faster so that if they're trying to, you know, kind of move their way into the IT-related classes as soon as possible, this helps them move forward. They do have to do physics and chemistry, but then they're done with their math and science. And then they move into the major requirements for the degree, which include 4 base computer science programming classes that everybody has to take. Generally, those 4 can be done at community colleges. At least the first 2, computer science 1 and 2 can, and then the following 2 classes very frequently can as well. But the nice thing with this degree plan, and I'll get a little bit more into this in a minute, is that students, because it's IT, get to focus more on the people part. So they still learn the coding part, but then they're also working a little bit more on how people relate to computers. And you can see that with the human-computer interfaces class that they do internet programming. So they're really working on the end user side. And for a lot of our students, that's a really big benefit. And then the beauty of this degree plan for students coming in, especially from community colleges, is the supporting area. So students are able to take 21 credits from whatever degree plan or whatever classes that they've previously taken, as long as they qualify, and use those as this supporting area, which allows them to take more classes at the community college level, transfer those to us, and then they would help them to earn their degree. And down below, you can see quite a few options for areas that students could choose, and some of those include things like Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, and so some of those certifications they're earning at the community college level could then work for us here at UNT. And then really a lot of students will choose their favorite area, whatever it is that they want to focus in within IT, and they choose that. Or we have students who maybe started school 6 years ago, dropped out for whatever reason, and are coming back that maybe originally wanted a history degree. And so they're able to even utilize those credits for this degree plan as well. So this next slide, oops, let me go backwards. Okay. So this next slide, I just kind of wanted to give all of you a little bit more perspective about why students are choosing IT, because it might help you as you're working with students to see things they're doing that are interested in that might relate to the IT program. Big reasons for us are flexibility, because students are able to use more of the credits that they've earned, but they're also able to choose what they want to take for 21 of their credit hours, and very few degrees in at least the College of Engineering allow that flexibility. They do get the coding experience without the advanced math and science requirements. And so for students, like I mentioned, who are shy about math or maybe not very confident, that's really appealing to them. Also, we have students who are interested in multiple disciplines. Like, for instance, we have a student who really wants to be a technical writer, but she knows that going into technical writing very often requires some amount of science or coding or technology classes. And so she thought by doing the IT degree and then doing her concentration in technical writing, she'd be able to get the best of both worlds and be more qualified as a technical writer, because she really loves English, and she figured that this was a good way to make that into a career. We also have quite a lot of students who want to work more in a collaborative work environment. Like I joke about students in engineering and their personalities and what they choose based on their personalities. But for IT students, they may want to work more collaboratively with different people within the workplace. And so this degree gives them a lot more of that through networking, through the different aspects of the job that make it more appealing to them. And a big one is interest in working in the end-stage development of products, including look and feel. And what I mean by that is students might be interested in app development, and so they might want to do some coding for an application, but really they want to work more on how does this feel to the user? How does the user interact with this device? How does the user interact with this program? And so they may end up taking classes for their supporting area in like graphic design or animation or something like that. So it really is very flexible for those students. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an idea of why students might choose IT over computer science. And I'll go over this very quickly, but we have here our freshman admissions requirements for the College of Engineering. And we're of course looking at class rank, and we're also looking at SAT, ACT, and then the combination of those determines if a student is admitted. When we look at the transfer requirements, you can see that they have to be admitted to UNT, of course, but there's a much different barrier for entry. And so if students come into the community college, they get through pre-calculus and all of their math, science, and engineering classes are a 2.0 or higher GPA, then they would be admitted into the program directly. And so for some students, that's a much lower barrier to entry. It allows them to go to a community college, save some time, save some money, and then transfer to us once they're done. And then we also have options for students who aren't directly admitted into our programs, and those are listed here, and I won't go into that too much. But whether students are directly admitted into engineering or come here and do some developmental work when they get here, we work with them on both of those. So anyway, that's all that I've got for you today. But for all of you, keep doing what you're doing, because it really helps us here at the university level.
That's great. Thank you, Kathryn, for that. So again, if you have any questions, here are the email addresses of our guest speakers. Mine's there as well. And also spend these last few moments sending your questions to us in the chat box. We ask that you please take a minute to answer that short survey. The link is there. I also just sent to you in the chat box. You should have it handy. Thank you, everyone, for your time this afternoon. Thank you also to our 3 guest speakers. We hope this was very useful. We appreciate your time. Okay?